I hope everybody's having a good week so far. This week we are going to be talking about the organizational background component when you're writing a grant and why it is important. What are the mission, values, and other distinguishing characteristics of an organization? And what is it about the particular organization that enables it to successfully execute on what it promises to deliver? The organization background component should answer these two questions. This section of the proposal highlights all the positive qualities of an organization and describes the organization well enough to assure the prospective funder that this nonprofit or department or organization can successfully undertake the proposed program. Funders may refer to this section as the introduction or the applicant description, but the same basic information is expected regardless of its name. This section of the proposal should allow the reviewer to get a strong impression that the organization meets an unmet need or fills an essential role in the community, is financially secure, well managed, provides important community services, understands the community that it serves, reflects the community on its board and staff, and has respect of the community. So you want to make sure that you highlight this very well during this section of your grant. The primary goal in crafting this section of the proposal is to establish credibility with potential funders. Organizations need to use sound judgment as to what is appropriate given the specific proposal and, of course, the funder. Listed here are 6 key points to include in your organizational background section. This section can become lengthy, so it's important to only highlight what is relevant. Try to keep the section to a maximum of 2 pages. This can depend on what exactly your funder is asking you for. It could be much shorter, but try to keep it at most 2 pages. The organizational background section includes the following: a description of the organization and its mission, vision, and how it came to be, so the history of the organization. It contains the demographics of the community served by the organization, followed in ways in which both the board members and the staff reflect those demographics. It also contains a discussion of the ways the organization is unique compared to others providing a similar service. You want to include a description of any innovative programs or special services the organization has provided. Has it received any awards or special recognitions? This is important to highlight. And you might want to include a very brief history of funding by other sources. This might also be included in your budget section, which we'll talk about the next week. In your organizational background component, it's really important to highlight expertise and capabilities that you have on staff and that you have as a whole organization. Funders want to know that you have this expertise in order to undertake a certain project or program that you're asking for funding. So it's necessary to show that you can manage it and, if needed, grow effectively. In order to highlight staff members who have expertise in their fields, you might want to include staff resumes to your proposal as an attachment or create staff biographies. Staff biographies are typically a 1-paragraph section about a certain staff member, providing an overview of their expertise, what their background might be, any kind of educational experience, or any sort of relevance to your project. Funders also want to see that an organization itself has the ability to succeed. So you want to make sure to talk about the history and highlight any of the past successes. That is key. You can showcase this through an organizational resume. This provides a big picture overview about what your organization has done since its inception. You also want to show any internal or external support. So internal support might be from other staff members, department heads, or any sort of committees or boards that your organization might have. External support looks like support from community leaders, other organizations, clients, neighbors, etc. You can document this through a letter of support. This is used to validate the credibility of your organization, project, program through a third-party testimonial. This testimony should back up your claims of success as well as your promises that you want to deliver through your program. This letter implies that other organizations or funders think your proposal has merit. It signifies that your project or program has the potential of delivering the proposed results. In addition, it provides a compelling and persuasive reason for funders to support your grant proposal. So including those can really help your grant application be successful. When looking at internal and external partners, we also want to review and reduce silos for more effective grant writing. So what is silo mentality? The silo mentality is a mindset present when certain organizations or sectors do not wish to share information with others who have similar missions or programs. Silos impact our grant seeking and grant success by reducing our ability to partner and our ability to compete for grants. Silos also reduce visibility and the credibility of a program or organization, and also increase duplication of efforts and reduce an organization's efficiency, effectiveness, and growth. As a grant professional, we have an opportunity to take a grant application and use it as a tool to increase cross-functional solutions, to include stakeholders in a project, and to build a sense of interconnectedness around a unified vision or mission. When we use partnerships, community engagement, and leveraging of diverse funding streams, we begin to break down those silos. Funders want to see that an organization has partnerships and that they are working collaboratively on projects. So forming these partnerships will only help your grant application and help make your organization more effective. So how do you form these partnerships? When seeking grants, it is a very competitive process, and often we don't reach out and find partners to work with. But why is this? Because collaboration can be extremely powerful. Strategic alliances used by nonprofit or other organizations can increase your influence, scale up efforts, strengthen or expand programs or services. It can also help streamline operations. So it's really key that we create these strategic alliances, especially around grants and grant programming. There are many ways to do this through contractual methods. You can form an association or a coalition. You might have joint programming, and such as referring back and forth, so a very referral relationship. You can have shared services. You can form a merger, which is combining two organizations into one. This is extremely difficult to do and not done often. But if you have two very similar organizations, you might consider doing that. You can also create a memorandum of understanding, or an MOU. This is a document that, though not legally binding, signals the willingness of two parties to work together. So when forming partnerships, there are 5 general steps to take in that process. So you need to determine your own strategic needs and what you want out of the collaboration. You need to identify potential organizations and partners to collaborate with and begin the conversation. So find partners that make sense. Find partners that have the same mission or the same vision, that might have a program that you can work together on. It's really easy to do. Just look out and see what is in your community to identify those potential organizations. You really need to consider the practical challenges of implementation that might occur. So you might want to look at an organization's culture, their strengths, weaknesses, their leaderships, what their governance system looks like. and see if it matches up with yours or could match up with yours. Next, you need to conduct due diligence and go through negotiations. This is essential to ensure that there are no major surprises once an agreement has been reached. You need to make sure that all organizations involved agree and feel comfortable with the agreements in place. And next, you actually need to implement that collaboration and adjust as needed. So once an agreement has been reached, the organizations can implement their alliance through an MOU or a legal agreement. You need to make sure you have open communication, and you're always going to be learning and adjusting and adapting. So make sure you're measuring your key indicators to ensure a healthy and successful collaboration is happening. When trying to decide what to include in your organizational background component, you may want to use a SWOT analysis technique. SWOT is an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and is a structured planning method that evaluates those 4 elements of an organization. It is a very simple but powerful tool that provides a framework for the leveraging of an organization's strengths, improving weaknesses, minimizing threats, and taking advantage of opportunities. So the strength simply refers to things that the organization does well. You want to identify any skills or capabilities. You want to look at resources that you have, and you want to look and see what others view as your strengths, so your key stakeholders in your organization. Weaknesses refer to things that the organization needs to improve. So you might find weaknesses in your resources or your capabilities, things that hinder your organization from achieving its desired goals or missions. You could find areas that you want to improve on, and you need to identify areas that you think other people view as a weakness. Opportunities are trends that your organization can take advantage of. These are outside factors or situations that exist that may affect your organization in a positive way in achieving a desired goal or mission. Examining these trends is extremely helpful in identifying opportunities. So where can you apply your strengths? And finally, threats are obstacles that your organization can face. This is the time to look at what others are doing. What are they doing better? Threats are outside factors in the current environment that exist that could affect your organization in a negative way. So a SWOT analysis is a really simple but effective tool in helping identify what you want to put in your organization background component. Even though this week's topic was short, the organizational background component of a grant is extremely important. So please spend some time looking over your required readings and answering your discussion forum. You do have a weekly assignment which you'll analyze the organizational background for your organization that you picked, as well as doing a SWOT analysis. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks.